let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf Outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great colors.
I mean, this is
Hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always.
Hey guys, thanks for coming so fast. How are ya? Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy here on a Monday. My name is Neal. Ruhl. That guy over there is Sam Flannel. He's in for D-Mac. D-Mac will be back in the fold tomorrow. It's celebrity golf outing season, as you know. So, D-Mac is out and about. So you know what that means. BMG. Big Mike Gentry is here in the house. BMG, what's up, man? Are you all right?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
I'm cool, man.
I'm ready to go.
You are?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Positive.
All right.
Positive.
I know Spencer Raxter is ready to go. Spenmo, How was the weekend?
It was electric.
Electric?
Yeah. Had a great weekend. Chilling with the boys at Ale and Eddie's on like 13 and Shaner on Friday. Had a good time there. Shout out to the people down there. They hooked us up. They're talking to one of the owners was talking to us about Woodward and stuff, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, dope.
And then Saturday, I went to the Boldy James concert at the Shelter downtown. Chilling with Jalen Rose on the stage.
I saw that.
It was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun.
Spence, did you get to hang out with Jeff?
No. Jeff
No
ditched
Jeff
us
this weekend.
on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff I Afraidy.
Really?
Jeff I'm Afraidy ditched us on Friday.
Juicy J?
Yeah. He's pretty scumbaggish move, honestly. Not gonna lie.
Like backed out on a ticket and everything like that?
No, for just hanging out at the bar.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he didn't want to drive to Warren. He didn't want to slum it with
Oh. Now, okay, so all right, well let's dive into that. And look, guys, here's the deal with the show today. There is some Lion stuff out there. There's some Penei Sewell stuff out there, which I enjoy. I like. You guys know this. However, I'm calling an emergency session about the Detroit Tigers in about 8 minutes. It's an emergency session. I've got some things I got to get off my chest about this baseball team. The events of this weekend. 31,000 at the game on Saturday for some reason. We have to discuss it. But I do want to get into this. And look, I feel as though, Sam Flannel, that sometimes, and I know it's like in a laughing matter and stuff like that. I am Macomb County, blue collar, son of two car factory workers. I am as blue collar as it gets. Now, do I lord above everybody in Washington Township? Yes.
Yes.
I do. However, Spenmo, would I ever back out on you going to Warren?
No.
I love Warren.
No, yeah.
And Warren loves me.
Yeah. We had talked about it all day about going out that night and the boys, and started the group chat at like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3, asking people where they want to go. No answers. And then Easy was like, Spencer, pick a place. I was like, all right. So I picked a place, and then Jeff went to Beato's.
So, Spenny, let me ask you this. Was it...
Hold on. In the
All right,
WoodwardSports.com
yeah.
chat thread, Burns says Jeff explained himself this morning on the
I'm
show.
sure
Is
he
that
made
true?
his excuses.
Yeah, explained, you mean gave excuses. I'm sorry, Sam Flannel. Go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. So, Spenny, were there other people from this network who were out there
Yes,
with
there
you?
was.
Okay.
Yes, there was.
So, was it kind of a Woodward outing?
It was a tad.
Man. So...
Did you not get the invite for that?
Well, I'm at a different stage in my life, so I'm not even
Well,
mad
so
at
am
them.
I, but-
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. I probably wouldn't have gone anyway, but I'm always there in spirit. It has nothing to do with you guys. I just am at a different phase in my life. But I remember those days. I remember those days when earlier on you would kind of be talking with your boys or just planning the night, and you get so excited, all the anticipation builds up. I just couldn't imagine not going.
Yeah,
it would be what I was looking forward to all day.
Jeff's excuses were he had a gift card for B-dubs, and so I told him I'd buy him wings and his drinks.
Wow.
And then
The whole package.
the whole package.
On a big package Friday.
On a big package
it
Friday.
was.
Yeah.
Giving him the whole package.
Is he okay?
I don't know, man.
How
I don't
about
know.
this? WoodwardSports.com chat thread. And jump into there. Remember, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Jump into that. Get your thoughts out there. We got to get to the bottom of this. And there is some discussion. Aaron Stoner says, B-dubs? Really?
Yeah.
SMH. Lame. And look, B-dubs has its place.
Yeah.
It does. It has its... Like, if you want to go out, say, like, with the guys or whatever... Like, you guys were, it was like a music Friday, and that's cool.
Yeah.
If you want to, like, go out with the guys and you want to sit around and BS and you have the games on and stuff like that, B-dubs has its place. I'm not going to disparage
so
B-dubs.
Is this bar. Ale and Eddie's is a nice spot. Really good food. Great food. It's a brand new bar. They had live music. We were chilling.
Yeah.
I got the fish tacos. They were really good.
Fish tacos, man.
Yeah.
Those are slept on. Mm-hmm. But anyway, though, Flannel, look, B-dubs is solid. Like, again, if you want to go somewhere and have conversation with folks, B-dubs is the play. Or something of that ilk is the play.
Sure.
We're not here to disparage them.
No, but on a Friday night, I would take a nice local establishment over Buffalo Wild Wings any day of the week. And there's nothing against Buffalo Wild Wings, but if it's a Friday night, especially back in my day, I'd be looking to get a little crazy, not just be commiserating.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, I think you messed up there. If you're looking to live that fun life, you gotta take advantage of those opportunities. Do it for those who no longer can.
That is true. Chuck Brewer in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread says Jeff no shows weekly on his Kool-Aid Pistons podcast with Broad Beard. Why would you expect anything else? Jeff Iafrate, look, I'm a friend. I'm a coworker and a friend. This is what the people think of you in the streets right now.
And everybody in the Woodward Sports chat is saying that he had prior plans, and I asked after the plans were all of us to go somewhere. Those were the prior plans.
Jeff Iafrate, Juicy J.
Call him to the stage.
I'm telling. No, we don't need to do all that. He needs to stay wherever he is and do some soul searching right now about who he is as a person. And he needs to think about it. Jeff, this isn't me saying it. This is the people. The people, the fans of Woodward Sports, all of that. This is the people and their opinion of you and what they think of you. If you don't care, okay, that's fine. Go to the Tigers game and have a good time or whatever you want to do. That's fine. If it were me, Sam Flannel, I would be a little concerned that that's what the people go to.
Well, yeah, of course I would be concerned. You always have to have a healthy level of caring what others think. Obviously, not to the point where you dictate your life out of it, but I don't know. If I were Jeff, I would have gone to this thing. And especially, Spenny, I'm gonna let the people in on the group chat. You went home and you were blasting Dazed and Confused by Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. If it was that kind of night and I found out that I missed out, I'd be kicking myself.
No, it was a great night.
Oh, man.
Had a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure. How late did you guys stay out till?
Not too late.
Okay.
Not too late. Got home like midnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
That's not bad at all.
solid. It was like I said, it wasn't anything crazy. We were just all the boys said we were gonna all go out and get some drinks.
Hung out.
Yeah.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread Pete Smith. B-dubs is for people who want to hang out without hearing a horrible version of Wonderwall, a horrible song when it was even sung by Oasis.
They did do acoustic Kid Cudi and acoustic Macklemore, and that was yeah. But I'm telling you, it's a good spot.
Yeah.
It's a good spot. Lucas and Easy both said great. We were watching the game. It was great. TVs everywhere. Great food. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm not
Free
a live
plug.
music person.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm past that point in my. I was never a huge, because guess what? If I want live music, I'll go to a concert.
Yeah, that's fair. When it comes to bars, I'm not a huge fan of live music either. It's usually loud. It means you can't talk to your friends.
Right.
And most of the time, it's just some cover band. I mean, they might be very talented, or they might play a terrible version of Oasis's Wonderwall, which And for the record, I don't want to hear any Wonderwall slander. It's a very, very fine song, but is it overplayed? Abso-freaking-lutely. And I definitely don't want to hear a cover band do it. I would much rather hear just music blasted. I mean, I did a DJ instead of a band at my wedding. That just shows how I kind of am. So yeah, live music at local bars, not a huge fan myself either.
Benjamin Foe says, I bet Neal doesn't bring up Anthony Davis again.
I'm sure you will.
100%.
I know. But you know what? I'll tell you what, I looked back at myself and I'm like, I looked like an insane person. But that's okay. That is all right. I am back. I think I bounced back rather okay. We did finish the segment. We didn't have to go to break or anything, but
That was great. That was great.
Yeah, that was
All-time clip.
I appreciate that.
Jack Harrington, our resident New York fan, says the Yankees offense right now is poo. Oh yeah, Jack? In about 4 minutes, wait till we talk about this team. Just wait. Some things are going to boil over, by the way. I would hang around for that. And yes, I know we're going to step in front of some Lion stuff. Because, look, the other local sports media talk entities have just shown up to this party. So I have to reiterate the stuff that we've talked about for about 6 weeks now. I have to reiterate it just so they can have their talking points for the show later on. But right now, I mean, we're talking about Juicy J, Jeff Iafrate, morning show fame. What's wrong with this guy, man? Ditching the boys.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And I could see the hurt in your eyes.
For the beat-ups in Clarkson, too.
Oh, my God.
That's like the spot I picked. It was 10 minutes away from me. It was 10 minutes away from Lucas and Easy. It was,
Where's Juicy J
good
living?
I don't know.
He lives Chesterfield by me.
It's not like Clarkston's around the corner from there.
Not at all.
Clarkston's further away than your spot
I didn't even
was.
know
You shoot
that.
down 94, boom, you're there. I used to live in Chesterfield.
Yeah. 13 and Shaner. It's a good spot. It's a good spot.
Jeff Iafrate. What happened to you? It's sad, man. You need to do some soul searching and figure out what's important to you and figure out what you want the people to think of you. And I'm not saying that you live your life based on what other people think of you. However, a man is only as good as his reputation.
Well, what's the thing? If people knew me as somebody who ditched the guys or ditched friends, I would not like for people to have that opinion of me. If they think that I'm a crazy person because of my rant on Friday, that's fine. You all can have that opinion. But if I'm known as somebody who disses the boys or who ditches the boys, I can't have that. That's one that you will never live down. You got a lot of making up to do.
Zachary Jones, have you not seen the morning Woodward show, Neal? And guys, typically I don't, but the reason is that's kind of on purpose. A, that's usually, when I'm getting my work in at Planet Fitness. But I never want to be one of these people that just shows up and takes somebody else's take. Like when I show up, like I want mine to be like the first when I talk about it. It's not based on what other people say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't even want that to like enter into my mind, spill into my mind, or anything. But yeah, have you not seen the morning Woodward show? He shows up an hour into the show, late as ever.
I haven't seen him show up. Well, actually, I think
He
once
did that. He did that once. I'll have Jeff's back on that. He was late like one time, and it was because traffic. It's bad out here.
Oh,
yeah.
But
that's
it
new,
was
huh?
one time.
That was just that one time the traffic was bad.
It was one time he was late. I'll cover for him on that.
No,
just one time.
Jack Harrington says he's a diva, Neal. Is that true?
I don't think Jeff Iafrate is my friend. I will vouch for his work ethic. And one of the times he was late, it was at Feldman, which is on the west side, as
That's
just opposed to
That's
Chesterfield, which is clear on the east side. So I understand that traffic has been bad, and I know that he even said that he left early. I don't know though. I would be ashamed of myself if I were late. But at the same time, it sounds like he did. It sounds like he did everything that he could. And you know what? He fit right in. He finished the show.
Slight jab.
Damn.
And
what
look,
Lucas said in the chat?
No, because Jeff Iafrate's in there right now. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Do that on your show, Jeff Iafrate.
Yeah.
Do that on your show. It doesn't matter what you say. Your actions speak louder than the WoodwardSports.com chat thread messages you leave in there. Yeah. That's your character.
Lucas
what
said
you do.
Jeff told him on Tuesday that they'd chill on Friday.
I can't speak to that, man.
We were,
if it were me, I would be concerned that I'm being... And look, we're spending way too much
there.
time on it.
Wow. Lucas was there.
Of course he was.
Yeah, he's a solid guy.
He lives in Toledo.
Yes.
He's there. I'm afraid he lives in Chesterfield.
He lives in Easy now.
Oh, okay.
They're shacked up, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Having a love shack situation going on.
I can't. I'm not here to get in people's business. All I can do is give you I'm paid to give my reaction. That is my reaction. One Funky Lions fan. Jeff, you know Neal is nothing more than a troll, right? I'm not a troll.
No.
I do take exception to that.
No.
I tell you what I think. I'm paid to tell you what I think. This is what I think. And by the way, what I think about the Tigers is what we're going to talk about next. Maybe I should go somewhere to get in the right frame of mind before I talk about the Tigers team.
Yeah, but you don't want to do too many edibles because then, I don't know, you might be stuck at home all night. But let me tell you about Dispo, because you can join the Dispo family live at their Hazel Park location on June 23rd for Ermanni and Edwards and the Woodward heavyweights from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Come prepared as Dispo Dispensary takes your cannabis experience to new heights. Located at 634 West 9 Mile Road, Hazel Park, Michigan. See you there for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz and the Heavies, June 23rd. At Dispo, your local cannabis plug.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
All right, we're off and running on a Monday. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC, BMG, Big Mike Gentry's here. Of course, we got Spenmo Racks in the building as well. Happy to have you all with us. And Real Cream of Wheat says, yep, there's friends, and then there's, quote, work friends. Yeah. So, and then we'll just leave it at that. That's not up to me. That's up to Juicy J. So, One Funky Lions fan also says, when a loudmouth troll talks about character, priceless, nonetheless. Okay, One Funky Lions fan, I'd like to see one example of me being a, quote, troll. Because I deal in fact. Speaking of fact, your Detroit Tigers lost again.
9 in a row.
9 in a row, huh?
Only 5.5 out of first.
Only 5. And you know what? I got a couple of different. Then look, there's 1,000 different ways I need to go about this now. Number one, let's just start right here. Number one, our own Tammy Chin sent me a tweet on Saturday that Javi was coming up to bat. Strikes out first at bat, because of course he does. And so I responded. I said, Tammy, you're out there, your boots on the ground. Is Javi being booed? And she said, no, he's being cheered. And I said, what are you talking about?
If this were a real baseball town with real expectations, that wouldn't happen. If this was New York, Javier Baez would be one of the most hated athletes in the world right now. If this were Boston, if this were Philadelphia, I've got the ultimate sort of evisceration of Javier Baez. This year, his on-base percentage is a horrific .262, which is 161st out of 162 qualified position players in all of baseball. His OPS is an even more ghastly .564, which is 160th out of 162 position players in Major League Baseball.
Say that again, that last one.
All right, so his OPS is .564. Anything under 6 is just like...
It's minor league.
It's minor league, absolutely, which is 160th out of 162 qualified position players in Major League Baseball. And yet he's still getting cheered. He's not getting booed. This is one of the worst signings in the history of Detroit sports, and he's been historically awful. Meanwhile, a couple other shortstops like Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, and even Carlos Correa in his down year has been significantly better than Javier Baez. It's very, very grim, and he's the face of it right now. Remember, when he was brought in, when he had that walk-off double off the wall in Game 1 of 2022, the rebuild was over. In 2021, the Tigers had overachieved quite a bit. Guys like Jonathan Scope, Akil Baddoo, Grossman, and Jamer Candelario had all had a parlay of career-style years, and they won 77 games, kind of in a miracle. And then the next season, Javier Baez completely tanked, and the Tigers went into the tank themselves. So Javier Baez, he should be the most hated athlete in Detroit right now. I still don't think people grasp that. And
no,
he is.
and that's my issue. Like, you guys know where El Mago's back, right? Like, that's what I was told. I was told that. Remember, like 3 weeks ago, I was told that. And it was still awful. Even then when he was hot, it was still awful. And guys, look, as fans, we know the story, right? Like, he's got the player option, $100 million for the next 4 years. That's the player option, like 99, whatever the number. Call it $100 million for 4 years. Obviously, he's gonna opt into that. The point of my story is this. Our very own Rack in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread said he was at the game Friday. Booed Javi and was told to, quote, knock it off, unquote. Knock it off. A, who uses knock it off anymore? That's number one. But B, knock it off.
Yeah.
The Tigers fans were the last hope for Javi. The only thing that you can do at this point, and I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just, again, stating facts, guys. I know I have bad character, but I'm here stating facts right now. The only card left to play, and it's not going to work, but the only card left to play is you have to make this New York, Philadelphia bad. That's it. That's it. It's got to be so toxic that he just wants out. Because guess what, guys? He ain't going anywhere. And as Sam, and I say ain't for a fact, and Sam Flannel, you're right. This is certainly in the discussion for worst free agent signings in Tiger history. It's in the discussion, if not the worst.
Absolutely. And we're not saying it because we're being mean or anything like that. Javier
The numbers!
Yes,
it's the numbers! Get a hit!
Yes.
Get a hit! Maybe take a walk.
Yeah.
Get on base somehow. Field the ball. Don't lead the league in errors at the shortstop position. I'm not doing this. I'm not the one up there striking out. Therefore, I'm not the bad guy, everybody. I'm not the one doing it. And this has become like the face. And look, there are many problems. But I know they're 2.5 back, right? That's what I was told 2 weeks ago. Like, they're analytically the luckiest team in the majors by far.
They certainly were. And that luck has run out. They've lost 9 in a row, and now but they're still somehow, some way, only 5.5 out of first because the division is so bad. If the Minnesota Twins played in the AL East, they would be last in double-digit games out of first place. But since they're in the AL Central, they're first. And the Tigers, they should be completely buried right now. That is what they deserve. But if they have a weekend's 4-game series at Minnesota, if they take 3 out of 4, I'm sure a lot of fans will have some hope again. I mean, don't let them sweep. Then they're back, basically.
And let's put this to bed because I know people are going to run to this. A real cream of wheat. Juan Gonzalez, he was pretty terrible when he came to the Tigers. He hit 22 home runs and 90 RBIs, hit like 290. Yep. He wasn't this. This is minor league numbers this guy's putting up, and nobody cares. Like, knock it off. Don't boo the guy. No.
Juan Gonzalez had an OPS of 840 something. Javier Baez has a 5 starting out with it. That is one of those Mendoza line type of numbers. Your OPS is bad if it starts with a 6. Javier Baez's is 564. That is as bad as can possibly be. Like I said, it's 160th out of 162 qualified position players in the MLB, which means by the numbers, especially given his contract and given that these are supposed to be some of his prime years, he is the worst player in Major League Baseball. At least the worst everyday player. The worst player that keeps getting trotted out at the number 2 hole in the lineup every single day. It's sad, it's grim, and at this point, it's not going to get any better. You just have to make his life so miserable that he wants out, because he's not gonna deny the money. But if you boo him every single time, if you put him on the bench every once in a while, I mean, that's the only way right now, or else the Tigers are stuck.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Apollo says we're waiting for Cabrera to retire. Cabrera's hitting 500 in the last 7 games with a 590 on base percentage. He's the best hitter they have. Yes, you heard that.
I don't know about that.
Over the span of the last 10 games, he's the best hitter that you have.
Of course, over the last 10 games.
The 38-year-old broken down Miguel Cabrera, who, by the way, I think wasn't it bobblehead night Saturday?
I think so.
31,000 people at the game.
Of course.
I wonder what's the correlation there.
Because he is one of the best right-handed hitters in MLB history. That's
100%.
facts. Absolutely.
You know who's not? Javi Baez. And the people on here, like, look, Brandon Katz says, Baez sucks, but he's one player. The Tigers' problems are much bigger than Baez. No, they're not, because he's the $150 million contract. That's the piece that you went and got. That's the centerpiece, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was told. He's the centerpiece of it all. So, no, it is Javi Baez. That is the problem. And, look, we can get into the other stuff, all right? And look, this whole thing revolves around going back to last offseason. You look around this league. De La Cruz for the Reds, right?
Looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good. International signing, 65
Absolutely.
grand. Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners.
Up-and-coming superstar.
Up-and-coming superstar. Ronald Acuna, been in with the Braves since he was 16. Where's ours? I'm told about Jackson Jobe and Jace Young. That's what I get all the time. And look, Scott Harris is separate from this discussion. And yes, A.J. Hinch is separate from this discussion. And some of you are going to be upset and say, well, he's gone, Neal. What do you want to do? No, this is the reality of what was left by Alavila. And then he's doing the podcast circuit, talking about, I like the return I got for Justin Verlander. Jake Rogers hitting like 170.
But he leads the team in home runs, right?
Yeah, him and Nick Maton are like your leading home run hitters.
And they're both hitting under 200. How sad is that?
Guys, here's the moral of the story. It's broken, and it ain't going to be fixed for a long time. A long time. Because not only do you have Baez, like in a vacuum, you could fix the Baez problem, but you can't. Because I know a lot of people are going to say, well, move him around in the lineup. I heard other media entities talking about that. And by the way, welcome to the party on the Tigers, everybody. But I heard other media entities talking about that. You need to drop him down to 8. For who? For what?
I mean, I think at this point, you got to get him out of 2. No matter what. No matter who.
For who? For who?
I mean, I'd rather see just about anybody up there. I'd rather see Akil Baddoo. I mean, even Akil Baddoo. I'd rather see Kerry Carpenter at this point. And I get it; those aren't.
Well, he's
names.
hitting third.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Zach McKinstry's leadoff. He's probably their best hitter right now.
Do we realize how bad this franchise is right now? Not this team.
Yeah.
This franchise, this organization. And again, Scott Harris separate. I'm on board with Scott Harris, mainly because he's not Alavila. And that's sad. That's a sad state that we're in right now. But that's what it is.
Yeah, and Zach McKinstry has turned out to be a pretty good signing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, I know he's tapered off quite a bit from when he was playing out of this world, having an on-base percentage of over 400, which he did have for a while. But Zach McKinstry right now, with Riley Green being out, Zach McKinstry is their best positional player. And Scott Harris got him for basically nothing. He was basically an afterthought. And speaking of Riley Green, isn't it so sad too that he's the one that has actually delivered. He had a batting average of almost 300. He has an OPS over 800. And with him, you even have to worry about him being injury prone. This might be the second consecutive season, 2 out of 2, in which he plays less than 100 games. He was the one, he was the hope, and even he's probably going to play 90 games this season. Very sad.
Apollo, Brandon Katz says Cabrera is a problem. Right under that, Apollo says Cabrera is the ticket seller. And Cabrera's your best hitter over the last 10. He's hitting 500 in his last 7 games. Like, think about that. Hitting 500.
I know. His on-base percentage is still starts with a 2, though.
Yeah, it's still higher than Javi Baez, though.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean,
by the way, he's creeping up on Torkelson now. Let's talk about exit velocity some more.
Yeah.
And hey, again, I'm fine with Torkelson. I'm not throwing out bust words. And I see a lot of nationally relevant people that talk about the Tigers that are like, I got to start thinking about our guy, Chris Castanelli from Barstool. It's like, I got to think about throwing out the B word. I'm not prepared to go there. I'll give him the season. He didn't get the time in the minors. I thought it was ridiculous that people said, well, Torque and Green will take us to the playoffs last year. You guys know I was on the record with that.
Sure.
A lot was expected of him. I'll give him time to ride. The Javi Baez thing, though, I don't know what to do about it because it can't be fixed. You think about this, Sam Flannel. For you to get out from under Javi Baez, you'd have to pick up most of the contract and probably attach a prospect to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And at this point, I would probably do that if I were Chris Ilitch, but we all know that's not going to happen. And
you gonna attach Jace Young to a Javi Baez trade?
I mean, we don't know what Jace Young is, but Jace Young is supposed to be one of the middle infielders of the future. So if you were to do that, if Jace Young were to be a guy that you would attach to getting rid of Javier Baez.
Because that's the cost.
Well, and if he turns out to be something, imagine that you would be tanking you would have Javier Baez, who gave you absolutely nothing, and Jace Young, who is your potential second baseman, shortstop of the future. You would be getting rid of him too. Javier Baez he's been more damaging than I think people even know, and he's been worse than people even know, especially analytically. He's never even been a good analytical player ever. It was a bad signing from the beginning, but he has taken what he wasn't good at and made it a million times worse.
I just hope that people understand, again, how hopeless and how bad this is. And I don't know how you fix it. I don't, because Javi Baez is going to be here for 4 years. And your highest paid player. I look around the league. The Arizona Diamondbacks were left for dead 3 years ago. And here they are. The Miami Marlins are holding on to a wild card spot in the playoff. The Baltimore Orioles are worlds ahead of the Tigers. And here we are as Tiger fans. Here we are just kind of sitting here going, hey, what's going on around here? Hey, you going to go get Miggy's bobblehead tonight? That's where we're at.
I know. It's terrible.
Hey, you're booing Baez. Knock it off. That happened. Where are we as fans, man? For real. And again, I'm not telling you not to go. You like baseball, go. I'll go to a game because I want to go see Miggy play one more time. You know, the man who's hitting 500 over the last 7 games.
Fair enough, but yeah, I think Detroit sports fans as a whole sometimes hang on a little bit too dearly to certain players, and I'll just leave it at that. Javier Baez should be the most hated athlete in Detroit by far, but he's not.
Because of people like Brandon. That's wrong. Buyouts has had a better year than Cabrera. All right, again, Brandon, factually, when Miguel Cabrera walks up to the batter's box and Javi Baez walks up to the batter's box, Javi Baez goes back to the dugout more often than Miguel Cabrera does. That's a factual statement. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're
that's
not
a factual
wrong.
statement.
That's not the hill to die on, because obviously Javier Baez has better power numbers and everything like that. But that's not a comparison that you want to have.
When you're this bad, it is that basic. It is that basic. And that's where we're at with this team. And this Flannel, I got to work with you apparently.
No. I'm just saying Javier Baez is also supposed to be in his prime and is supposed to be the shortstop right now. And Miguel Cabrera is obviously.
He's 38.
Yeah, he's done.
And putting 31,000 in the ballpark for his bobblehead.
It still probably shouldn't be 31,000 in there.
Well,
but still,
there was.
Yeah, there was.
It should be 31,000 people Strawberry Fest at Big Boy. I'd rather go to that than watch Javi Baez taking at bat. Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic breakfast items, the strawberry hotcakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffle, perhaps. Not a breakfast person? That's cool. The strawberry bacon chicken wrap. I'm about that life, no doubt. Delicious. Or you can get the refreshing summer splash salad. Don't forget to grab dessert. The Berry Delicious Classic Strawberry Pie. It started all this. Deep fried vanilla Oreos or strawberry hot fudge cake. All that and more. Strawberry Fest at Big Boy today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, and parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. Servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit us at OutdoorEquipmentCo.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for D-Mac, BMG, Big Mike Gentry. And of course, we got Spencer Raxter here in the building.
Damn, I got an of course.
What's that?
I said I got enough course.
Absolutely.
Legendary.
Yeah, Kendrick Nunn. I mean, you're up there with the GOATs now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just wrapping up this discussion on the Detroit Tigers, and again, I'll never understand it. I'm not saying don't go to the ballpark, but for the man that told Rack to quote knock it off when he booed Javi Baez, I am telling you to stop that, because the only thing left, your only hope. And it's going to be fruitless. I understand that. Your only hope is to make it toxic for Javi Baez. That's it.
Absolutely. And for anybody who's saying for that guy, if you're somehow watching, that said to knock it off when Rack was booing, just also remember that Corey Seager was another guy who was in that free agency class that the Tigers could have signed and probably should have pursued a little bit harder. His OPS this year is over 1,000, which is beyond elite. That means you're one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball, and Javier Baez is at 564. That is pretty sobering. And even in Carlos Correa's worst season, I know everyone's talking about, Carlos Correa's not playing very well either, which he's not, and he would say so. His on-base percentage is .304 and his OPS is .710. At least he gives you something. What Javier Baez is providing is just one of the worst seasons.
You're literally better with a minor leaguer in his spot.
You absolutely
literally
are. He's having one of the worst seasons any everyday shortstop has ever had.
You could literally put a minor leaguer there because he's not going to strike out as often.
You could put me there, and you would only lose a little bit of production.
Paul Johnson says it all ended with the Verlander years. Well, Paul, that's not even the case. It ended when Max Scherzer walked out the door. Remember that? And by the way, too, speaking of that, I want to get this right, because I'm glad you brought that up. Because, Paul, it ended when Max Scherzer walked out the door, when the Tigers made him that ridiculous contract offer that he was never going to take, when they offered, 8 years at $140 million, yep, and then put out a press release that he turned it down, when then the Washington Nationals gave him 7 years at $210 million. So why it was a lowball, ridiculous offer that was just put out there not to sign him, so you could put out that press release and say to the fans, hey, we tried. Darn it.
Yep.
We tried.
And then Tigers fans had to watch Max Scherzer with Washington win a World Series and be probably the best pitcher in the National League for about 5 years.
Yeah, that's what it was. And by the way, too, I'm not letting ownership off the hook the way that a lot of people are. Because how about this little stat for you? The Ilitch family owning the Tigers, are on their way to their 23rd losing season in the 31 years they've owned the team. 23rd losing season in the 31 years they've owned the team. They've lost over 100 games 4 times. They've lost over 90 games 12 times. They've not had a winning season since 2016. They finished over 20 games behind first place over 15 times. So like this romanticism about, a baseball town and stuff like that. Those are the numbers. Again, I know I got bad character, right, guys? And it's real mean of me to point out that fact. But that is a fact. That's not my interpretation of it. That is a fact.
Yeah,
sorry.
What people don't remember is that obviously in 2006 and in 2012, the Tigers made the World Series both of those years, lost them both in pretty bad fashion, I would say, losing to an 83-win Cardinal team in 2006 and then getting swept by the Giants in 2012. But between 2007 and 2010, the Tigers missed the playoffs for 4 consecutive seasons. I know people don't often remember that and they don't look to that, but it wasn't as golden or as great as people seem to remember. I know between 2011 and 2013, those were some really fun times as Tiger fans. We got to see a lot of great baseball.
And how did that happen? What was the crux of that? Minor league development?
No.
God, no.
No.
What was the crux of it?
Ownership woke up one day and decided they were going to be good.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you with that one. So that's what it is. Here's Johnny says Cabrera's contract is the anchor. No, it's not. Because A, they got 31,000 in the park Saturday because that business relationship is working out very well for both sides. Like that's what I'm fighting against with the Miggy slander, man. Is people act like it's not a two-way street. Like Miggy's just getting all this money and that's it. Guess who else made money on Saturday?
The ownership.
Made a lot of money.
And also, there's no salary cap in baseball. Obviously, if the Tigers would have given Miguel Cabrera that contract and it was a capped league, it would be a completely different conversation. It would have probably helped cripple the team, although it couldn't have done it worse than they've already done anyway. But there's no salary cap. You can, if the owner is willing to spend the money, you can do it.
And look, Brandon, Neal talks endlessly about the bad contracts Holmes inherited. The worst contract inherited in Detroit sports was the Cabrera contract when he was in his 30s. It's baseball, Brandon. It's baseball. There's no salary cap. When 22% of your cap is taken up by Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins, yeah, that's an anchor. But in baseball, where you can just say, we're going to move on. I'm just going to go sign somebody else. And it doesn't matter. That's the difference, Brandon. I'm sorry if you can't understand that, but that is the difference. It's math. Come on, man.
No, it's as simple as that. And I said it before. If baseball were a salary cap league, obviously that contract would look a lot worse and it would hurt a lot more. But at the end of the day, there is no salary cap in baseball. Has that contract aged well? Well, of course it hasn't. Miguel Cabrera's been in decline for more than half a decade, and that is 100% fair. But at the same time, there's no salary cap. It can't hurt as much as when we talk about Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins being 22% of your cap at one point. It's because there's a salary cap. There is no cap in baseball, so Miguel Cabrera is just whatever percentage of the budget that the Ilitches are willing to spend.
The Tigers don't have the money New York teams do. No? The corporations they own are billion-dollar entities. Right? Right? They did it before.
They did do it before.
They were what, number 4 in the majors in payroll at one point? Mm-hmm. And I'm not even asking you to be reckless. Like, just fix the bias. Can we start with the bias thing? Just fix it. And look, I do believe in Scott Harris. And you look across the board at all these teams that are good. The Diamondbacks, the Orioles, hell, even the Marlins right now. What do? They do this weird thing where they have scouts that, go get good players. Draft good players. That's all I'm asking for. And I know that's going to take time. Again, Scott Harris is separate from this. A.J. Hinch is separate from this. This is the only way it's going to get fixed. And it's going to be years. Years. That's it. That's all.
I mean, that's the route that they've decided to take. And Scott Harris, like you said, he's proven he's got a pedigree. I believe in what he's doing. And even just with something simple as a Zach McKinstry signing, that shows me that he has a better eye for talent. And he's taken this organization more of an analytically based approach, which Al Avila, I don't even think he ever heard of analytics. That's why you sign Javier Baez to that kind of a contract.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. And Rack echoed my sentiments perfectly. So, Rack, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it with the emotion that I have when I think this thought. It wouldn't matter if Miggy's on this team or not. There's no one missing any playing time or anything like that, or anyone producing at a much higher rate than him. I don't get how people can't understand that.
That's a good point.
I don't. How can you not understand that?
It's just hard to watch. It's hard to watch a once great player decline. I think that's all.
Decline? He's the best hitter you have over the last 10 games.
But he's obviously declined from what he was.
Sure.
Obviously.
He's pushing 40.
I know. I'm on your side.
Let me tell you about Swiss Insurance. Because
Jesus, man.
Now that summer is here, it's important to make sure you're properly covered. Whether it's your grad party or a group of people over to enjoy the lake or pool, your liability exposure increases significantly in the summertime. Let Swiss Insurance Group review your coverage and make sure you are protected from an unexpected loss. Check out SwissINS.com or call Mark today at 248-800-4177. That's 248-800-4177. It's Swiss Insurance.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to WoodwardSports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to WoodwardSports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, I'm trying to get it together here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for D-Mac, Big Mike Gentry, Spencer Raxter in the building. Can somebody get Sean in finance and see if he's still got that bottle of whiskey on his desk? Like, when the kids get out of school, my workout schedule changes. I work out after the show, and I don't care. Give me the whiskey, then I'll go do the 5 miles. I need it right now. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Just a couple more seconds on this. I have a Penei Sewell thing that I want to touch on. Ransom says this roster as a whole needs redevelopment. Ransom, this organization from top to bottom needs If Scott Harris pulls this off, then put a statue of him in the outfield at Comerica Park too. For real. If he gets his team to the playoffs, this organization, they should build another bridge to Canada and name that one after him.
The Scott Harris Bridge.
The Scott Harris Bridge to Canada.
But I like his philosophy, though. So I wouldn't put it past him to at least... you can't be this bad forever. As long as you're patient, as long as Scott Harris is given the tools that he needs, I think he can turn it around. He's sort of that new age sort of GM. Maybe he can be the Tigers version of a poor man's Theo Epstein or something like that.
And real quick, last point on this, and we're moving to Penei Sewell. I got on the email list somehow for U.S. Customs Border Patrol, like their media releases. Okay. I don't know how I didn't sign up for it or anything, but I got put on there somehow. And I'm glad I did, especially now. Because we're talking about if Scott Harris can get this team to the playoffs, they should name a bridge. How would this sound? I got this press release this morning, as a matter of fact. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers assigned to the area of Port Huron. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this and rename that bridge the Scott Harris Bridge, okay? U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers assigned to the area of Port Huron intercepted approximately 200 pounds of cocaine at the Scott Harris Bridge port of entry on June 8th.
Has a nice ring to it, at least with the Scott Harris Bridge. It's sort of...
Do you want it to say Blue Water Bridge or Scott Harris
Scott
Bridge?
Harris Bridge.
100%.
Absolutely. And it will mean that Scott Harris has done his magic and got the Tigers at least back to relevancy.
There you go. So, 200 pounds of cocaine in a tractor trailer.
That's what it's all about. It's the America I know.
Hey, that's right, man. Snow in the forecast.
Snow in the forecast.
Light snow, a lot lighter snow in the forecast now. How does that crimp your style at all, Spenny?
I haven't dabbled in a while, not gonna lie. I haven't as you. There's many a nights, but I haven't dabbled in a while.
El Gato says it was going to Easy's house. Do we know?
I don't think so.
People also want to know, has anybody confirmed the location of Adam on June 8th? Well, he was here this morning.
That's true. Yeah.
In the release, it goes on to say that obviously the perpetrators are now in federal custody.
Yes.
And I would imagine they don't have any plans for a very, very long time.
For many, many years.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. People, too, want a movement. Nick Pancone says, can we rename the tunnel to the Brad Holmes Tunnel?
Hey.
If
he accomplishes what we all think he can with this team, I honestly think that will get a groundswell. I really do. Like, the movement will get a legitimate groundswell. I know we're just talking about it now, but, like, for real.
William Turnbull says the A's haven't won anything using the Moneyball system that they have. Yeah, they were in the playoffs like 2 years ago.
Yep.
Let that sink in. They were in the playoffs. They're always going to the playoffs. We are not. We have losing seasons for 23 of the last 31 years. With a small good time in there. All right, Paul Johnson, you're right. On to Sewell. That'll make me feel much better. Yeah, me too. Penei Sewell, he spoke. Was this our video that we had?
It's from Brad Galley.
From Brad Galley. Okay, my guy, Brad Galley. Swifty.
Oh, yeah.
Was out in full force at the Taylor Swift concert.
That was a nightmare. I was trying to get to my concert at the shelter, and the queue line was just packed with
Swifties. I was out to eat somewhere in Macomb County because it's graduation season. Went to a very good family friend's graduation, and we went out to eat out there on Hall Road, and like 4 of them went in there. It was like 2:30, and it's weird. It's that time of year where the mothers dress the same as the daughters.
Oh yeah,
it's a really wild time. But hey, I would go too. That means I don't have to go to the Tigers game. So
I had Boldy James put on a great show.
That would have went with Spen and
Yeah.
hung out. Now, granted, Customs interrupted the party on Saturday
Yes,
night.
yeah.
But anyway, Penei Sewell spoke to Brad Galley. And you guys know, I'll preface this, all right, before we get into it. You guys know my affinity for Penei Sewell. I say he's the one that changed everything. Obviously, it's Brad Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
But from a player perspective, he's the one that changed the party. Roll this video, Spenmo.
Definitely off the bat, expectations are way higher than last year. We coming out with a different intent, different purpose than we were here last year. Attention to detail has to go up. Room of error shortens down a lot, so it's definitely tougher. But with the guys that we coming in and all the new faces like the rookies, I think we can handle it. I mean, shoot, sky's the limit, to be honest. There's whatever's out there for an award, whatever, like Super Bowl. I believe that we have the right guys to accomplish that goal. So sky's the limit, and can't wait to see what we do this year.
Real quick, before we talk about that, that man is 335 pounds.
He's a massive human being.
He looks like that, though. Like, he's not Aaron Gibson 335. Yeah. What are you going to do against that guy? At 335. No wonder he's always 7 yards into the end zone when they got the ball first and goal from the one.
It's like fighting a silverback.
I love that man more and more. Like, it's uncomfortable. It's getting uncomfortable.
I got his jersey.
It's getting uncomfortable how much I love that man, Sam Flannel.
I think it's been a little bit uncomfortable. But you know what? When you say that he's the man who changed everything, he was Brad Holmes' first draft pick, and he has set the tone. He has made that good unit great. And last season, at least with Penei Sewell, he's one of the people, along with the whole offense as a whole, they did their job. The offense was elite last season. It was number 5 in the NFL in scoring, and they probably feel like they can do it again. And with the defense, with the obvious improvements made in the secondary, another year of Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, Kirby Joseph, the folks like that, I don't blame him for feeling confident. I don't blame the Lions fans for having those kind of expectations. I mean, at least with the offense, they were proven. Ben Johnson's coming back, Jared Goff's coming back. They upgrade at running back, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The whole offensive line is pretty much intact. Again, that offensive line, which was dominant last year, which Penei Sewell was one of the leaders of. I love it. And he does look fantastic, by the way. He looks jacked.
How is that 335?
I don't know how that's 335. It doesn't even look 335. I would have guessed like 265 if you're just looking at him from that angle. But at the same time, offensive linemen, they're built differently nowadays.
Jesus, man. Paul says, right attitude, right talent, right everything. Here's the deal for me. Here's why I love it. And A, yes, I'm a simp. I'll get that out of the way. But B, just analyzing the talk, that's a man that knows, understands, and embraces. He's the one that brought up margin for error.
He did.
There is none of that. There's no preemptive excuses or anything like that. And with him, the performance. You see it in the performance. That's what I'm talking about. When dudes are built different, he's built different not only physically, not only from a talent perspective, but for you talk about character, right? I'm a man of bad character, I was told before this show started. However, when things don't go well in the show, that's on me. I quarterback the show. That's on me. I understand that walking in.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a lot of people don't understand, don't embrace. I love the way he embraces it. When they have the ball at the 1 yard line and he's 7 yards into the end zone, right? Why do you think that is? Because he embraces the challenge and understands the situation, then rises to the occasion. That's it. That's all.
He's always going to do his job. He's not going to be the reason why they don't punch it in from the 1 yard line.
Flannel, at his position, at right tackle, I would imagine within 2 years, within 3 years for sure, maybe sooner, he'll move over to left tackle.
Sure.
And you never have to worry about that spot for 10 years.
No,
you never have to worry about it with him.
And that's why you say that he's a gold jacket guy, because it's a position where if you can plug someone in and they can play for many, many years, there's not a ton of injury risk as opposed, knock on wood, of course, as opposed to other positions like running back where they have shorter shelf lives, or defensive back, or even linebacker to some extent. And Penei Sewell, he is that plug-and-play star. And I know that I'm not quite as high on Penei Sewell as Neal Ruhl, but I've never once said that he's not a future Pro Bowler, future All-Pro, and more likely than not a gold jacket guy. And with all of this, it just reconfirms everything that we all think. He is going to do his job. He is going to make sure that the offense is with him playing. You can count on him repeating the performance from last year and probably being even better. And we question whether or not this offense can play to that level that they did this past year. But I don't think we question that Penei Sewell can and will. We know he will, barring injury, of course.
Right. And look, WoodwardSports.com chat there, Bradley K says, trying to decide if I should get a Sewell jersey or a St. Brown jersey. My last Lions jersey I got was Stafford. And Bradley, look, those are my two guys that I point to say this is when it changed. Penei Sewell on the field, as we talked about, just going right at Nick Bosa, going right at anybody, that Aaron Donald, everyone. That to me suggested that things are different now. They needed a few more pieces for it, right? They needed a few more pieces, but not to Penei Sewell. In that matchup, in that 1v1 matchup, Penei Sewell said, I don't care who you are. I'm winning this matchup. Mm-hmm. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown also signified the change. Those are the two dudes that changed everything for this franchise. It was Penei Sewell from an attitude perspective. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Brad Holmes perspective to say, I can survey the field, and in the fourth round, I'm going to get that guy. And he's a star loading. And he is. And oh, by the way, Bradley, you probably can't make a wrong choice there. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, to me, that's when I knew that the man evaluating the talent, which, let's be real, the Lions' shortcomings for the last 30 years are based around drafts. Sure. We've been through it here on the show. I go list by list, and we laugh, and everyone laughs, then cries, then laughs again, and then we move on. The Detroit Tigers, they're in the spot they're in right now because they are awful at drafting. Not bad, awful, the worst. They're the worst in Major League Baseball at drafting. They were.
Sure.
This isn't complicated, you guys. It's not. And I know we talk about baseball and spending money versus like football, and you build it through the draft. If you draft good players, your team will be good. In any sport, in any league, in any college, recruiting is your draft. Anywhere you get good players, you'll be good. It is that simple.
It is that simple. And obviously somebody like Penei Sewell, who was the number 7 overall pick in the draft, it's obviously very, very important to hit your high draft picks, to hit on your first round draft picks, and they did. But Penei Sewell, to some, he fell to the Lions. It wasn't that complicated to get Penei Sewell. Amon-Ra St. Brown, on the other hand, he's the type of draft pick that Super Bowl GMs make, that was a diamond in the rough, that was a 4th round draft pick that you saw at the end of 2021 breakout, and then 2022 be one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, probably in that 8 to 12 range. He has been one of the best picks in the NFL over the past couple of years. And you're right, with that 2021 draft, that is when everything changed. That's when they hit on their high pick, and they also hit on a 4th rounder. When's the last time before Brad Holmes, you could say that the Lions hit on a 4th round pick? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Brandon, Sewell's had issues in pass protection. It doesn't make sense for them to move him to left tackle. All right, number one, you're not moving him to left tackle this year or next year, and then we'll take a look and see what Taylor Decker's story is at that time. Number two, and Spenmo, you've had the video to support it in the past. When Micah Parsons was rushing Jared Goff, how did that work out?
He didn't get past Penei Sewell. That's for sure.
What was the terminology you used? Put him in
a bread box.
Phone booth, bread box.
Yeah, whatever it is.
A playpen.
Micah Parsons' pressures and sacks came against Taylor Decker in that game.
Yeah. Laid him down for a nap.
Penei Sewell handled him.
Burped him.
Yep.
fed him,
stop.
and laid him down.
Come on now. Now you're being a
You've
little
seen the video.
disrespectful. I know.
Did you see the video?
I did see the video.
Okay, great talk. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you for
And
your
Penei
contributions.
Sewell did a very
Flannel.
fine job against Micah Parsons, but he didn't burp him like he's a baby or anything like that. Micah Parsons still dominated that game. I get it. It was
Not against Penei Sewell.
Fair. That is absolutely fair. And that also leads to the whole Taylor Decker might be a guy in a couple of years who is expendable, because Taylor Decker, for all how good he's played and for all we love him, he's never been that Pro Bowler or elite offensive tackle that we expect Penei Sewell to be. Penei Sewell is obviously better, and he did a better job against Micah Parsons that day. I'll admit it.
And Brandon, that's all we can go by is, the video of what we saw.
Tape don't lie. The eye in the sky does not lie.
It does not. Hey, how would you like to see famous athletes like Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, and Braylon Edwards play golf with average Joes? Well, thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you'll be able to do just that. It's a Randy Wise Automotive Team Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay attention to Woodward Sports for more information. The Randy Wise Automotive Team Celebrity Golf Tour.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network pulling up on the second hour of the show. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for Darren McCarty. D-Mac will be back tomorrow. BMG, Big Mike Gentry is here on a Monday. Spencer Raxter, he's lubed up from the weekend. You know how he operates. I can't wait for Monday's show just to relive Spencer Raxter's weekends. Even when Jeff Iafredi from the morning show ditches him and bails on him to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Not just me.
And Lucas and Easy and everybody.
Yeah.
He ditched me, and I wasn't even there.
Mm-hmm. In spirit.
We're
just his work colleagues.
Right.
That's what he refers to as.
Work friends.
Work colleagues.
Yeah, not even friends.
Not even friends.
It's all right.
You want to know a fun fact? For the Lakers-Nuggets game, me and Jeff watched every game together. Since the Lakers got eliminated, one game. One game.
Are you sure you're talking about Jeff or Sam Flannel?
Could be both.
Could be both. Absolutely.
Jeff was also a big Lakers supporter in that series. We were known as kind of the Lakers simps at this network, which we were, to be fair.
Jokic gets his championship tonight.
Absolutely he does.
The ceremony is tonight. They'll play an exhibition game.
What do you think his stat line looks like in this game?
Because I wonder, that's dependent on the Heat, right? Because I could see a world where they're down 25 at halftime.
Me too.
I could definitely see a world where that happens. So then, but I don't know. You know what? I guess that it's up to Malone. Like, do you want to put do you want to drive it home?
How demoralizing do you think it was for the Heat to hold Jamal Murray to 15, Jokic to under 30, and still lose by double digits?
But they're a flawed team.
And Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon went crazy.
And that's why the Nuggets are NBA champions. Because the rest of the roster is there.
Absolutely. And Spenny, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. It actually is worse. In that game, in Game 4, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic combined for 38 points on 13 of 36 shooting. And they
lost at home.
That just happened to coincide with the game in which Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown combined for 19 of 26 and 48 points, including 6 of 9 from 3. And Aaron Gordon is not even that great of a three-point shooter. That was your chance, Miami Heat.
What about this, everybody? Real quick. And I know we're getting off topic here in NBA Finals. Jokic is the best player in basketball. They'll get their championship tonight. What about this, though? Real Pistons fans. Bruce Brown. 4 years at $20 million per. 5 years at $20 million per.
You know,
he fits.
It's so funny because at first I was like, I don't know about that.
He's what they need.
And he has, last season was the first time he's ever averaged double figures in a season. But you also mentioned that his three-point shooting
He didn't have it before.
He didn't have it before. And I think he would get more usage with the Pistons. I don't know. At this point, can beggars really be choosers? I don't know. Bruce Brown certainly, he would help the team, no doubt about it. He is a missing piece. It's just 5 years, $100 million. That's still a lot. I wouldn't hate it, but I'm not going to pound the table for it, if that makes sense.
I'd rather pay Jeremy Grant.
I agree with you, Spenny.
He fits. What he does is what they need.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
People talk about he'd be your best defender, show up on the scene, be your best defender on ball.
$20 million is a lot for Bruce Brown, though.
But you got to pay the tax.
Yeah.
You got to make him come here. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Just think about it. You know what? I'll say this. Like in free agency, he's up there for me. Based on this, way, you going after James Harden?
You know who's up there for me? On a low-key sign, not like break the bank signing, but like bring a guy in to be a veteran presence. But Jeff Green. I would love to see I'm not throwing $20 million at Jeff Green or
Right.
anything like that, but give him a little small contract. He could help these guys. He's going to get a championship this year. He's been around the league forever. He'd be a great vet to have. And he could still come in and give you some minutes, play some defense, knock a 3 down or 2. Like, I love Jeff Green personally. And again, I'm not saying throw a stupid fat bag at Jeff Green or anything like that. But if you could get him on a reasonable contract, that'd be cool.
Harold Williams says Bruce Brown's not a $20 million player, though. Not close, in my opinion. And I would say timing is everything in life. Is he a $20 million player to the Nuggets right now? I mean, he's not. He's making like 6 and some change. He's 27. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he is what you're supposed to be. Like he improves as he went on in his career. That's fair to say, right? He's shown constant improvement.
Of course.
Is that fair?
Yes.
And guys, again, we want something done, right? You want something done. We got to wrap our heads around this, man. If you want to swim in the NBA free agency waters, guess what you're going to have to do here?
Overpay.
You're going to have to overpay. He's getting a raise. A big raise.
Oh, he's most certainly getting a raise. I just wonder if you would have still had the same vigor for it if he didn't have the best game of his life in the NBA Finals. People have been
he's been this way the whole playoffs.
He hasn't been that good.
The whole playoffs. No.
Yeah.
His fit, his role that he plays, he is one of the reasons. Him and KCP are big reasons why. And KCP hasn't even been really good this series.
He has.
He's been good throughout the playoffs, just not this series. But those two, this is what I'm trying to get everyone to wrap their heads around. That is why you win. For nights when Jokic and Murray are not good, they cook the Heat.
They did. And
cooked them.
And Bruce Brown pretty much closed down the club that night.
Yeah.
It was actually amazing how he just basically took over that game in the fourth quarter.
Hitting step back threes.
Absolutely. And I mean, I couldn't believe it. I know that Bruce Brown is good, but I didn't know he had that in him. But he is one of those valuable role players. Can he be this generation's Danny Green or someone like that? It seemed like Danny Green, everywhere he went, they won titles too. Maybe that's a Bruce Brown type player. He's going to get one this year. But to be fair, the main reason why they win championships is because of Jokic and Murray and Gordon and
Danny Green did win a title for 3 different teams.
Yeah, he won one for San Antonio, Toronto, and the Lakers.
Yeah, those are winning type players. 3-and-D guys. Everybody needs them.
Everybody needs them.
That's what I want out of the draft. Like I've already adjusted. I know people are like in that mindset with number 5. Who are the Pistons going to get that's going to be a star? I've already adjusted it. Like once you get to the north of 5, 6, 7, 8, at that point, time has shown if you draft a KCP type player, you've won with that draft pick.
At 5, I would say you want someone who's maybe a little like KCP plus or somebody like that. But what if, I'm just throwing out a name. Taylor Hendricks shot 39% in college. If he shoots it in the pros at decent volume, he's a valuable pick. He's also a 6'9" wing.
Whitmore is who I want at 5. Both of them can do that. They both are long. They can both shoot. Cam Whitmore has a little more star potential upside, but I think Taylor Hendricks has a better, higher floor.
Who's the better defender?
Probably Hendricks.
I'm 3-and-D, man. It's the way you win in this league.
Look at what Sacramento did last year with Keegan Murray. I know a lot of people laughed at Sacramento, like they just gifted us.
He was
Jaden
exactly
Ivey.
what they
exactly
needed.
what they needed.
Exactly what they needed. So we get caught up in this. You got to get the chosen one at number 5. A, that's not the way this works. It's never worked that way. And B, you win with fits. And that's why, like Bruce Brown, like people are talking about. There's no way he's a $20 million player. If he's going to come to Detroit, he will be.
If he's coming to Detroit, he'll probably be $20 million. It's just the question is, do the Pistons want to pay? And like I said, I'm not pounding the table for it. I'm not advocating for it. But if I heard it, I think I could reason with myself to understand it and look forward to him being a valuable member of this team, because he would be. He absolutely would be.
That's all. I've not spent a ton of time on it. I want to get everybody warmed up to the sphere of that. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Chuck Brewer says, "I'm sure he's had one, but does Neal just ignore Katz's good takes?" Chuck, I do not. Here's one as a matter of fact. On cue, Brandon Katz. Brown is Denver's only reliable bench player. And to some degree, that's true. He's their most reliable bench player.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Brown had that one great quarter in games. But yeah, absolutely. Bruce Brown, he has been their bench this whole playoffs pretty much. And he has played very, very well, including it's not a bad gig to have the best game of your life on the biggest stage in the finals. In a series in which Jokic is your teammate and Jamal Murray is your teammate. It was the Bruce Brown fourth quarter.
But it wasn't a one-off. We're not talking about Max Strus here.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a one-off game. He has been this when the opportunity has presented itself. More often than not, he's delivered.
Gentry hates Max Strus.
No, I hate Max Strus. Max Strus is a bum. He is a bum. I know that a lot of people were hyping him up after he had a few good games.
90% of the chat right now is going, "Who are you even talking about?" Max Strus.
Gentry hates him.
Gentry is right. He's a bum. He got catapulted to levels of even Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, and Duncan Robinson. Max Strus is worse than all of them. He's a bum. He had a couple of decent games shooting, but ever since, have you seen his finals numbers? Take a gander at those if you want to laugh and vomit at the same time.
Brandon says Bruce Brown will get 12 to 15 million per year. Yeah, if he goes and plays for a good team, that's about what he'll get.
I'll tell you what, if the Detroit Pistons can get him for 12 or 15 million a year, I'll pretty much do backflips for that. I'm not saying that he will, or he might ask for more if he goes to the Pistons, but I would be way on board with that.
Khalil Dunn in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread says, "Who?"
Max Strus, legend.
Yeah, absolutely, Max Strus, a basketball legend. Planet Fitness, gym legend. Yes, that is correct. I talked about it during summer. The workout regimen changes. I don't go in the morning because I don't drop my son off at school anymore. So what I do now is I go after work, and that's cool because Planet Fitness is about a mile and a half from here. There's over 50 of them in the Metro Detroit area. With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can go to any Planet Fitness in the world and bring a guest anytime you want. That's how they get down. $10 a month for access to your home club. If you want to be a baller, get that Black Card. It's just $24.99 a month. Some of you paying $60 for a gym with a rock wall. Planet Fitness is where it's at. Army of cardio equipment, army of weights. I've never waited over 3 years at Planet Fitness. I've never had to wait to do a workout. Can you say that about your gym if you're not at Planet Fitness? I don't know that you can. Look, bottom line, right now, go to planetfitness.com. You can join there. Pull in the parking lot. You're going to pass a couple on the way home. There's over 50 of them in the Metro Detroit area. And don't forget as well, they got the high school summer pass going on. High school kids ages 14 to 19 can work out for free from now till August 31st. Again, go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, and of course, we have Spencer Raxter here in the building. Happy to have you with us, woodwardsports.com chat thread. Don't forget about the Big D Energy podcast, by the way. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Big D Energy from Woodward Sports. Subscribe to it. Do us a favor. What should they do, Spencer Raxter?
5-star.
Give it a 5-star review. Rack sent a screenshot on social media. He gave it a 5-star review. Love the show. Neal does what he does. D-Mac's obviously a legend. Sam Flannel sucks, but I subscribed anyway.
Just give it a 5-star. I don't care what you say.
There you go. So, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. CJ Schneider says, Pistons great DeAndre Jordan. Going to get a ring. I remember the DeAndre Jordan era of Pistons basketball fondly.
I'd forgotten all about it. But yeah, it did happen, and he is going to get a ring. That's unbelievable. I mean,
Before
he's
Chris Paul.
Wow.
Well, anyone who's ever gotten a ring has gotten it before Chris Paul.
That's fair.
And anyone who gets a ring for the rest of time will get a ring before Chris Paul.
That is fair.
People talking about he's better than Isaiah Thomas. You better get the F out of here with that.
Chance. He's going to be better than Isaiah Thomas in China when he's throwing lobs to Dwight.
The second Isaiah Thomas, maybe. Never forget, too, DeAndre Jordan was part of the DeAndre Jordan 4 second-round picks and cash considerations for the Pistons in exchange for Jahlil Okafor and Sekou Doumbouya.
A lot of bad players in that. That's just a whole trade where
That is just a shit trade.
That's just a terrible. Speaking of bust, Jahlil Okafor was terrible. Mm-hmm. I remember there was conversation, should he go number 1 overall or Karl Anthony Towns? I know Karl Anthony Towns hasn't been a superstar or anything, but he's certainly been better than Jahlil Okafor.
Cash considerations is the best player in that trade.
Absolutely.
Didn't they package one of those second-round deals too? Wasn't that part of? Because I do a bad job at like remembering how all that fits together. Wasn't that a part of getting Jalen Duren, the pick to use Jalen Duren too? Mm-hmm. I'm sure one of them was somewhere down the line. So there you go. But yeah, there it is. Speaking of that, too, real quick, Pistons free agency. You talked about it, Jeremy Grant, a possible consideration. Cam Johnson, as well, according to Bleacher Report and The Athletic, Pistons have interest in Jeremy Grant and Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's still restricted, correct?
He is.
Houston said they're going to make the move, too. It's going to cost a lot to get Cam Johnson.
Of money.
It is going to cost a lot to get Cam Johnson. And I don't know if he's somebody that the Pistons should necessarily way overpay for. The problem with Cam Johnson, though, is if you put him on this team and he does what he did last year for Brooklyn, and that's also assuming that Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren improve and stay healthy, maybe they could flirt with a play-in, because Cam Johnson is another one that is exactly what the Pistons need. A 6'8 wing who last season with Brooklyn averaged 17 a game on 47% shooting and 37% from three. His efficiency took a little bit of a dip from during his time with Phoenix, but his volume and his usage went up higher. So yeah, I would love to see Cam Johnson on this team, but he is restricted. Although I don't know why you want to go to Houston at this point.
The bag.
I know, but Houston, the way that Houston has had so many rookies and second-year players who you would consider good, and they were all relatively healthy, and they still were awful. They just don't fit well together. It's the biggest cesspool in the NBA right now.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Apollo says we can get Cam Johnson and Miles Bridges. Well, then where's Ivy going to play?
He'll play the two.
Yeah, I was supposed to say Ivy's a different position. I mean,
One
Miles.
of those guys would come off the bench, unless you played Bridges at 4.
That's a pretty small lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those guys would probably come off the bench. It would probably be Miles.
I mean,
for real? You think that obvious? You think that for real?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to. It'd be your starting lineup would be. On that note, they might. I don't know, because they need a 4. I don't know if Stu's your 4. I know a lot of people love the idea of drafting Jarris Walker. I'm not really there for Jarris Walker as the pick, because I think him and Stewart are pretty comparable. But
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Brandon Katz. Jeremy Grant can guard every position on the floor. Cam Johnson can't guard anyone. That's a relevant discussion.
Cam Johnson can guard people. He's not a terrible defender. He's overblowing that. But I do like Jeremy Grant better. Jeremy Grant can play the 4.
I know. I would like that.
Yeah, me too.
I would like that. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Yeah, Cam Johnson's going to get paid, everybody. SR7187, how good is the Joker? He's the greatest center to ever play the game.
Stop.
He's the greatest center to ever play the game.
Stop. Nope. No, and this is what you do, Neal. Ruhl. You go way too far in one direction. He's not the best center to ever play the game.
Yes, he is.
He's better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon. No, he's not. He hasn't even won a Finals MVP yet. He will, obviously.
He will in about 12 hours.
Okay, that's fair, but he's
and then that completes your checklist,
no,
right?
it doesn't complete my checklist for being the best center who ever played.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the checklist?
The checklist for being better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is obviously have a lot more longevity, win more titles, win more MVPs, because he's the best center of all time to me. I think he could go a long way in passing guys like Shaq and Hakeem with Finals MVP number 2.
Okay, well, here, all right. Right here, right now. Here's the crux of it, Sam Flannel. This is what's different for me than this is the difference I have with a lot of people when I have the Isaiah Thomas discussion. Context matters.
Sure.
When you walk into the Lakers and they have Magic Johnson and James Worthy. Now, granted, I believe they got Magic and James Worthy when they traded Gail Goodrich. Those were the 2 draft picks that they got for Gail Goodrich, by the way, which is a heist.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is an absolute heist. But whatever. Here's the thing, Flannel, because context matters. All right? Nikola Jokic in Denver is a second-round pick that got taken during a Taco Bell commercial.
Quesarito.
That bring it back. I will make my triumphant fast food return if they bring back the quesarito.
That's fair.
Agreed.
We'll go as a show.
I've actually never had one.
They slapped.
I mean, yeah, it can't not be good.
Well, they did slap. Yeah. Taco Bell never misses.
Yeah, that's fair.
They never miss. All right, but going back to it. Jokic was a guy taken during a Taco Bell commercial in the second round of the NBA draft that went to Denver. Denver, of all places. A team that had never been in the NBA Finals, right?
Right.
Never won a championship.
Absolutely.
Was there basically by himself at the beginning.
Yeah, but he wasn't a star at the beginning.
Well, no.
Yeah, Murray they added pieces as time went on. Yeah.
But what was the center? What was the guy that brought them from being the Denver Nuggets to an NBA champion? Nikola Jokic.
Of course it was Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic is a foundation of it all. So that's where, for me, he gets more credit than from most, because a lot like Isaiah Thomas, who walked into a situation where there were 900 people in a game at the Pontiac Silverdome for a team that wins 11 games a year, and grabbed everybody and lifted them up, lifted a city up, and won NBA championship. All right? That's the difference. That's where I give him credit. That counts. He was the one that did it all and revolutionized the center position in today's day and age in basketball. Could play in any era, understands the game at a level that very few that have ever played this game understand it.
Sure.
Now, that is true. And I will fight you if you say no.
I was not going to say no.
I will come across here, and I've been working with my son. I will put you in a rear naked choke and turn out your lights, Sam Flannel.
Damn. All right. I mean, Nikola Jokic is the best passing big man ever. Duh.
One of the best passers ever. Hard stop.
Okay, I agree. He's in that same building. He's not quite what maybe Magic Johnson or LeBron or I don't know, John Stockton or Mark. I mean, I get. John Stockton was a great passer. I'm not saying that he's one of the all-time best players. He's overrated.
Bounce passes to Karl Malone on a roll doesn't make you a great passer.
Leading the. Thank you. Being the all-time leader in assists by a mile.
Running the all-time leader in assists if you're doing pick and roll, Karl Malone.
Running the same play every single time. Jerry Sloan will tell you that. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. King Yoda says, if you take Jamal off the Nuggets, they don't win. Yeah, if you take Jokic off the Nuggets, they're not a playoff team.
Both things are true. Every star needs help, and Jamal Murray, he has really come of age even more in these playoffs. Speaking of, Jamal Murray, the thing that's been most impressive is he's had 10 or more assists in every single finals game. I never knew he was an elite playmaker, but he showed that in the finals that he's at least becoming one.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Adese411. And hey, you almost got me, Adese. You almost got me, but I know what you're doing. I can read between the lines. Said Rick Smits is equal to Jokic. You almost got me. Good try. It almost worked.
Boo, John Stockton. Boo.
Thank you. They ran the pick and roll like 80% of their plays.
Yeah. And you have the best low post scorer in the history of the NBA. Like, you're going to get a lot of assists.
Speaking of the Denver Nuggets, like back when they used to do that run and gun offense where it was their goal to shoot the ball within 7 seconds of inbounding it, to say like Fat Lever made a ton of threes, like, oh, he's the best three-point shooter ever. No, context matters. This discussion, context matters. Jokic lifted up an entire NBA franchise and delivered them a championship.
mean,
did it just like Isaiah Thomas.
Well, you could also say the same thing for Kareem with Milwaukee, because people forgot that Kareem's prime years were in Milwaukee. They won a title with him, and when Oscar Robertson, an older Oscar Robertson, was on the team. He won 5 MVPs with Milwaukee. Obviously, go into a situation in which you get on a team with Magic Johnson and James Worthy, get drafted to the Lakers. It obviously helped Kareem a lot. I'm just saying that to say that Nikola Jokic is already the best center of all time, I think that's a
he would play. No, because okay, could Kareem play now?
Yes. Are you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Could he play now? Could he play in this NBA?
Yes, he could. Any great player at any era could play in any era if you're that all-time great. That's facts.
So he could play and do what Jokic does in today's game.
No, he would do it. He does it a little bit differently. He's not the passer that Nikola Jokic is. Just because Nikola Jokic is the best passing big man ever and he scores at such a high level doesn't.
And he runs the offense as a center.
I know that's implied that those two things are correlated.
You say he's the best passing big man. No. It doesn't go to him in the post and then he finds the open man. No, he runs they inbound the ball to him. He brings it up the floor.
I know you're acting like I'm saying that he's Arvydas Sabonis or somebody like that. Obviously, Nikola Jokic is the best passing big man, and he does run the offense. He's a point center. All right, if you need me to clarify that, obviously there I did. But he is not Kareem. He's not Wilt. He's not Hakeem yet. He's not Shaq yet. He's not Bill Russell yet. He could be. I don't think he'll ever be Kareem. He could certainly be Shaq or Hakeem. But to say he's the best center of all time right now is lunacy. You have to accomplish things. Accomplishments matter. And Jokic is putting together quite the list of accomplishments, obviously.
What accomplishment do you want him to have?
I want him to have more All-NBAs than 3. More first-team All-NBAs than 3. In order to be considered the best of the best. You have to nitpick when you're talking about the best of the best.
He's going to be first-team All-NBA for the next 4 years because they're doing positionless next year.
But you got to do it first. Actually do it. I'm not speaking on hypotheticals.
How many MVPs does he need for you? How many?
In correlation with everything else, he could probably stop right now. 2 MVPs is great. I think he probably needs a little bit more.
No, it was 3.
Okay, but it's not counted in the history of the NBA
He won
record
3.
books.
He won 3. They've rented the trophy out to Embiid.
And you just basically say it, so it's true. Obviously, when you look at the NBA record books, you're going to see that Joel Embiid won the MVP.
Right, but in very fine print, it will say holding it for Nikola Jokic.
Okay,
you won't be able to see it, but it will.
How far away is Anthony Davis from Nikola Jokic?
I think that Nikola Jokic, once he wins this final MVP,
4 planets at a minute.
No. Wait a minute. Let me actually say this so the audience is clear about how I feel about these players. If Nikola Jokic wins this Finals MVP, he is anywhere between the 13th and 17th best NBA player of all time, and Anthony Davis is somewhere in the mid 40s, like 45 range or something like that. He's a top 50 player. I never said people think that I think that he's a top 10 player of all time. No. He's a top 50 player. Jokic is better.
Corey Berry. Neal, did you really ask if Kareem could play today? No, could Kareem do what Jokic does in today's day and age?
But Jokic couldn't do what Kareem does. They do different things.
With Kareem in today's game, Corey, Flannel, all of you, could he be responsible for 42 points with 5 field goal attempts?
He might. No.
There's no chance.
Okay, but you act like Jokic does that every day.
No chance.
He did that one time. Obviously, he's super hyper efficient and he runs the point center position. But come on, you act like he gets 42 responsible for 42 points on 5 shots every game.
You want to go back? You want to go back through and look? He's done it more often than you think he has.
Not at that point. And obviously,
Venmo, help me.
And it was at a point in time in a game. It wasn't even for the full game. It was at a point in time, like a microcosm.
It's through 3 quarters.
Okay, fine. But we don't go off of microcosms. You're so disrespectful of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest center who's ever played.
Okay. You tell me about the days of yore, and I'll tell you about numbers and efficiency and math.
Okay, numbers and efficiency.
5 field goal attempts, 42 points responsible for.
Anthony Davis couldn't guard him.
No, he couldn't.
Couldn't even pretend to.
Yeah, they had to put Tristan Thompson on him because AD was getting
Do you know
cooked.
who actually did the best job against Nikola Jokic?
Tristan Thompson.
LeBron. I'd say LeBron. For all you guys who say that he's a bad defender too nowadays. My LeBron fandom usurps my AD fandom. Come on, guys. Everybody knows that.
Oh, man. We're late for the break. Thank God. All right. Sports marketing agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast is called This is the S Word. It's a series that helps address the stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or someone you know is struggling, go to The Sport SMA. Again, thesportsma.com. The sports marketing agency. They're here to help.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. Man, 30 minutes left in the show already, huh?
He made a good point in the Woodward Sports chat. He said JaVale McGee could guard him. JaVale McGee did guard Jokic well, and he has more championships than Anthony Davis. Just saying.
Yeah, as a role player in Golden State.
That is true.
All
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jump into there. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Chuck Brewer says, we need somebody to debate Neal that isn't Sam. LOL.
Okay.
Hey, Chuck, I'm sorry. It's light work. I know.
Okay, yeah, light work. Like me saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a better all-time center than Nikola Jokic is a hot take. That's insane. If you actually believe that, you in the chat, you guys are under the same.
All I'm saying is drop Kareem in the game today and tell me who's going to be a better player. Jokic is going to be a better player.
He's not going to be a better
yes,
player.
Yes, he is.
You act like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What's your Spenny, you're a big NBA guy. What's your take?
I mean, Kareem would do more defensively. He'd affect the game more defensively. But Jokic would affect the game more. I mean, he's unstoppable right now. He's the best player in basketball. He has been for the past 4 years.
And Kareem was the best player in basketball for an entire decade.
When guys had off-season jobs.
Not the 70s wasn't. I mean, that wasn't Timbuktu of. Well, actually, that was a pretty weak era. But at the same time, this era for centers isn't that great either. His closest competition is what? Joel Embiid for centers?
No, I would say by his
Anthony
MVP.
Davis is top 50 player
Anthony
of all time.
Davis. Yeah. Anthony Davis is more of a power forward.
Yeah, there's a top 50 player of all time in the league right now,
okay.
and he sons them. Every time he plays him, he makes him his son. He burps him, gives him his binky, turns on the mobile over his crib, and lays and swaddles him. Just wraps him and swaddles him. So it's nice and tight, so it doesn't like open up while he's sleeping, and then lays him down ever so gently, and kisses him on the forehead, and says, "You're such a blessing. I love you."
Do you guys remember the 2020 Western Conference Finals when Anthony Davis outplayed Nikola Jokic by a mile? That happened. You guys can pretend that it didn't happen and say that, oh, the bubble or some stupid, dumbass fucking shit like that. It happened in 2020. You cannot memory hold that from history. Anthony Davis outplayed Nikola Jokic for an entire series. And in this past series, it wasn't as big of a gap as you think. Obviously, Nikola Jokic outplayed Anthony Davis in the 2023 series, but Anthony Davis put up averages of 27-14 on 49% shooting. He wasn't trash. Stop it, people.
27 points, huh? And so he was probably responsible for what, 31 points a game?
Maybe.
Jokic does that in a half.
Okay.
In a half.
Okay, and in the 2020 Western Conference Finals, Anthony Davis averaged 31. That actually happened. And Nikola Jokic was the second best player on his own team in that series to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was a better playoff player in 2020 than Nikola Jokic. Everybody knows that. Stop it. You guys act like that 2020 never happened. And a lot of you stupid people in the chat are actually going to say that.
Steve Reinert says, this fool needs Jesus.
So one good season makes him a top 50 All-NBA player?
It's not one good season. Did you see the numbers that he put up in New Orleans? He's a 4-time first-team All-NBA, and he's a champion. He had an excellent finals run. Saying that he's a top 50 all-time player isn't even that much of a hot take.
Real Cream of Wheat says Joker just forgot his jorts that day. That could be true. That could be true. Apollo says 2020 is a fake ring.
It's not a fake ring.
It's not a fake ring when it's the only one you have, right? No, you could say it's fake for LeBron because he's got many others.
Oh no, I don't think it's a fake ring for LeBron. I'm the biggest LeBron fan there is. 2020 was as real of a ring as anybody because they all had the same rules. You guys can say it to fit whatever narrative you want. If you're a LeBron hater, you say that it's a Mickey Mouse ring. If you're an AD hater, you say that it's a Mickey Mouse ring. But I don't.
Marcus Gorey says it was an AAU bubble that year.
It was an AAU bubble. I'll tell you what.
That's a great one. I never thought of it like that.
If it was so easy, then why did Kawhi Leonard and Paul George gag all over themselves against those said Nuggets after being up 3-1? Why didn't Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum win it? Why didn't the Miami Heat win it? Why didn't the Utah Jazz with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert win it? Why? Why didn't Damian Lillard win it? Because if any of those people would have won it, you guys wouldn't be saying shit. That's facts. Why didn't Russell Westbrook and James Harden win it? Why? You can't answer that because that argument is stupid.
Todd Sain says, can we have this discussion when Jokic has 20 years of doing what he does? So, Todd, I take it you're a big LeBron guy then. Because if that's it, like 20 years, then it's LeBron's the greatest player of all time. End of story.
He is the greatest player of all time.
Right, but I'm saying I just want people to be consistent.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like if you need a 20-year resume, then it's LeBron and nobody else. Because Michael Jordan for the last 4 years of his career was like a 22% three-point shooter.
Yeah, and he quit the sport twice. That also happened.
No.
And I'm not anti-MJ before you guys say anything. I'm just saying that when it comes to longevity, LeBron James usurps everybody by a magnitude of a billion.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. All right. I'm glad that we got that out, and I'm glad that that was unscripted or anything like that. That's just the way that it worked. All I'm saying is, Jokic will check another list on the Sam Flannel necessary checkbox or checklist to, quote, be a good player. And you can only be a good player if you accomplish all. You can only be a great player if you accomplish all of Sam Flannel's checklist.
All time.
It's
great.
like when I go
Anthony
grocery
Davis.
shopping. Yeah, or Anthony Davis.
I said he was in the 40s.
That's fair.
That is also fair.
You did say Jokic was higher.
Yes. I think he's probably a top 15 player after tonight, for sure.
Okay. Michael Weary says LeBron is not the GOAT. If your benchmark is do it for 20 years, then LeBron is unequivocally the greatest player of all time. If that's your benchmark.
That's your benchmark, yeah.
It's not me saying this. This was brought up by other people.
Steve Reinhardt says Jordan is the greatest champion of all time. LeBron is the greatest player. Well, no. Bill Russell would be the greatest champion of all time then. Doesn't he have like 11 chips?
He does.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I'll give him credit, though. Like, that is, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
In this whole, drawn out July sports talk discussion.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
And Bill Russell was playing against plumbers. So.
He was. Dudes
math
had
teachers.
Man, what era was that?
60s.
60s, yeah.
He played in the 70s too, right?
No, Bill Russell did not play in the 70s.
Are you sure?
I am 1,000% sure. You'll see. His last year was 68-69.
So he's in the 70s. He was 1 year removed from playing.
68-69 was the last year.
Yeah, do I look like the type of person that would be unsure about those kind of things?
And he averaged 19 rebounds.
Against plumbers.
Yeah.
While having Hall of Famers like galore on his team too.
Yeah. No, I don't disparage eras because the world was the same for all of those guys too at the same time.
Sure. No way.
What?
He averages 22 and a half rebounds for his career.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Look at
Yes.
I want to say Wilt Chamberlain averages even more, while also 30 points a game for his career too. I want to say.
And was a little more active in the nightlife too.
Oh, yes.
And was it that story about Wilt and Kareem in the elevator? Did you hear about that? Wilt and Kareem were in an elevator, and a guy walks in, and he says, "Oh, how's the weather up there?" And Wilt spits on him, and he said it's raining.
Ryan in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread talking about Bill Russell's rebounding numbers. Them Andre Drummond rebound numbers.
Yeah, Wilt in 1,045 games played averaged 30.1 points and 22.9 rebounds per game.
Catspot says William Russell played when the NBA was less than 10 teams. That's fair.
That is fair.
That is fair.
That's an accurate comment.
Blocks per, they didn't count blocks back then.
Benjamin Foe says, but Killian Hayes would still average 7 points a game in 1960.
That's probably true.
I obviously agree with that.
Man, he always catches it all the time, man.
Yeah.
He'd probably shoot worse percentages, honestly.
You know what, though? I will say this. If Killian holds on, I think down the road that if he were on a good team, like a situational defensive guard, it would work.
Sure.
And it would work in a playoff series at some point.
And this is who Killian Hayes will get traded for.
Cash considerations.
That's what. Yeah.
Hoof Hearted says, hey, but you got to think 7 points in 1960 would be like a quarter of the team scoring.
Actually, the 60s, they had some pretty inflated scoring numbers. If they played at a much faster pace, so it actually would be kind of the opposite. But yeah, Killian Hayes, I think his shooting percentages would actually be worse in the 60s.
Dirty Dr. D says Shaq would have averaged 50 points and 35 rebounds a game if he played when Wilt did. Well, you couldn't dunk back then.
Yeah, he's still.
I don't think he'd get to 50.
He would have dropped it in.
Just like
I don't think he would have got to it. But hey, I know where to get to if you want a haircut.
Absolutely. You get to Lady Jane's, of course, because Lady Jane's, that's where I get all of my haircuts. They always have me looking so good. As always, I go to any of the stylists. Walk in anytime, open every weekday 10 to 8. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Coming on the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl. We have Sam Flannel as well. If you didn't know, D-Mac will be back in tomorrow. BMG, Big Mike Gentry, and of course, Spencer Raxter here in the building. Happy to have you all along for the ride in the woodwardsports.com chat thread. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Jump in there and get your thoughts rolling. Appreciate everybody that's interacting with the show and what's going on with all of that. William Turnbull says, serious question for Neal. How come in basketball Russell played against plumbers, but for baseball no one says Mantle played against plumbers? And Spencer Raxter and I are cut from the exact same cloth with this. And look, both things can be true. Like when you talk about Babe Ruth and stuff like that. Like Spenny says he's a bum. I think that's aggressive because he hit more home runs than the rest of baseball combined. However, the factual statement is this. All those great players never played against black players.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, when black players were finally allowed to play, what happened?
They fell off. Then you get Hank Aaron, and everybody's like, oh, shit.
And Jackie Robinson stealing home every day and stuff like that. Like, that is true. Mm-hmm. And, William, the conversation didn't call for it at the time, but I do take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I don't care what your stats were in baseball if you didn't play against black players or Hispanic players.
Right. Because they've proven to be very good at playing baseball.
You put prime Aroldis Chapman up against prime Babe Ruth, he strikes out Babe Ruth 100 times out of 100.
Jeez, they're so disrespectful.
You put prime Miguel Cabrera, prime Albert Pujols in the Babe Ruth era, they hit 7,000 home runs for their career.
Against Charlie Gehringer, guess what's going to happen? What do you mean defend it, Sam Flannel? Refute it.
Well, obviously, players are bigger, faster, stronger nowadays. They couldn't help who they played against. I get it. They get a little bit of a ding for maybe not playing against all of the available competition, but that doesn't mean that guys like Babe Ruth and Ted Williams were bums. It just means that maybe their stats were a little bit inflated. And for the record, a guy like Ted Williams, he was still putting up OPSs of over 1,000 even after 1948, just for the record, when baseball was integrated. I like some of those old school baseball players. That's maybe my blind spot, but you know what? It's okay.
Babe Ruth's a bum.
Again, we have the same outlook on that whole era of baseball. I think to say Babe Ruth is a bum is aggressive.
It's fair. I'll accept that.
Okay, and that's where it would be at. Killian Hayes would kill in that era of baseball.
He would.
You guys, man. I know you guys talked about this on the heavyweights, 5-7. Shout out. Easy and Spencer Raxter. Tap in if you haven't tapped in before. This story that came out, and I'm a little bit late to the party on it. I understand that. The Free Press, right? Mm-hmm. Carlos Monarez.
Yep.
Wrote the story and said that Jameson Williams, quote, needs a mentor before he becomes another, quote, Charles Rogers. And guys, look, I met Carlos before. I worked at the Free Press back in the day. But here's my issue with stuff like this, is I work in this media medium as well. And we get accused of a lot of things, right? Clickbait. I get accused of this. You're just saying that for clicks and things like that, which, guys, I've always kept it real with you. I will look you in the eye in this camera and say, I have never gotten on this microphone and told you something I don't believe to, quote, rile you up or to, quote, trigger Sam Flannel. I don't do that stuff. I don't. I'm passionate about it. I grew up here. I'm a fan of all these teams. I want all these teams to win. When they make mistakes, I get angry because I'm a fan. Now, it's a little more tricky for me. I work in this profession as well, for teams in and around the city. With that being said, though, this is my problem with some of the media stuff that comes out today. To say that is disingenuous. To say that is not factual. To say he needs a mentor before he becomes another Charles Rogers, that's a ridiculous statement to me. All right, some of the truth has come out about the betting thing. He was at a team hotel, betting on a game. Look, he got it. He got the punishment. He's going to take the punishment. He's going to sit out his 6 games. To say that he's going to be, quote, another Charles Rogers, a man who fell asleep with the foot on the brake pedal of his Mercedes at an intersection at 2:30 in the morning, is disingenuous. It's incorrect. And that is something, to say that, I would believe that was done for, quote, clicks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Charles Rogers is, and he's a sports tragedy. There's no other way to say
R.I.P.
it. Absolutely, R.I.P. to Charles Rogers. And just to hearing about his story and actually what happened to him, it makes me sad to this day, because I believe that if he would have stayed healthy, he would have been a great receiver. He showed it in his first 5 games of his career. But all that being said, Jameson Williams, as far as I know, doesn't have a substance abuse problem. He doesn't have any legal trouble. And as far as the gambling suspension goes, the more and more we learn about it, the more and more absurd it seems. And really, any criticism of Jameson Williams at this point is a little bit misguided. Some might say he should have knew the rules, but it sounds like a whole hell of a lot of people didn't know the rules. And if I were him, I might have done the exact same thing and made that exact same mistake. And he's paying for it with 6 games. So at this point, the only similarities that I can possibly see is that Jameson Williams has had some setbacks early on, but at the same time, Jameson Williams in his first year, you knew he was hurt. With Charles Rogers, he got hurt, I believe, in the 5th or 6th game of the season. And like I said, with Charles Rogers, his problems that he ended up developing, unfortunately, were real life issues that derailed his life, not just his career, his life. With Jameson Williams, he had an injury in college and he made a mistake with gambling, which seems more and more absurd as more information comes out.
Right, and that is where we're at with that. The whole gambling thing is absurd. Everything's trash.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always brought this up too, because I used to talk about this 10 years ago when I was on the air at ESPN Radio with DMAC. I would say the whole gambling thing doesn't make sense to me anyway, because like when guys are shaving points and stuff like that, people act like it's the police or the FBI that figure that out. It's not. Who's the first one that knows? The sports books.
The sports books.
That take $80,000 in a game, in a Kent State game, where they usually take $10,000. All of a sudden, there's $80,000 bet in an hour on it. They're the first ones that know.
Sure.
They're the ones that figure it out. Like this gambling thing, people act like it's the police or something like that. It's not. But going back to Carlos' story, you'll never convince me that he really genuinely thinks that. And that's the issue I have. And look, there are some issues with some people I have in the media. Mitch Albom is one of them. Because I saw the fallout. What people got in trouble for what he did. That weren't Mitch Albom. So, that's you guys know me, man. Like that's how I work. Somebody makes a mistake on here, I'm going to do my best to try to cover up for it. Because that's what you do when you're in a work environment with your people every day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to management and saying, boy, I don't like when Spenmo does this. If you do something I don't like, that's something, hey, Spenmo, I'm going to hit you up. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hang you out to dry like some other people in the media do. That's almost equivalent to that in my eyes. To do that for the sake of, quote, clicks because we need it, I can't relate to that. Again, I can't relate to it.
The only similarity that Jameson Williams and Charles Rogers have, in my opinion, is they were both extraordinarily talented and they both had large chunks of their first 2 seasons derailed. And in the case of Charles Rogers, it was purely injury. And in the second year in which he was injured in the offseason, he spent some time away from the team, and obviously that wasn't very good for him. Well, but with Jameson Williams, like I said, he had an injury that the Lions already knew about when they drafted him. They drafted him anyway. They got him as the number 12 or 13 pick overall. I think it was 12, even because he was hurt. And then this year he has a gambling suspension in which he's going to be able to play the last 11 games of the season. Jameson Williams is in no way, shape, or form in danger of becoming Charles Rogers, who is one of the biggest sports tragedies and what-ifs in the history of sports, not just Detroit sports, of all of sports.
I always wonder that if it wasn't the Lions, like say he got taken by Arizona or Seattle, just somewhere else, anywhere else. And I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I always wonder about that. Would it have worked out differently for Charles Rogers?
You'd hope so.
I hope so.
He was a Saginaw kid, and maybe being close to back home wasn't good for him. Obviously, being injured as his first couple of years and being away from the team wasn't good for him because people seem to forget he looked like he was about to pan out as the next Detroit Lions great wide receiver. I saw his stats. In the first 5 games, 22 catches, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is a very, very good start to your career, at least in your first 5 games.
He was electric.
He was electric, and he was one of the most talented college wide receivers I've personally ever seen. And it showed. He was the 2nd overall pick. I think he was a more talented prospect as a Michigan State Spartan than Plaxico Burress. I think Charles Rogers dwarfed Plaxico Burress when it came to talent. Charles Rogers' career just never got off the ground. And a lot of it wasn't even his fault. It was injuries. It was bad injury luck.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Soft Jones says, so no Tuesdays with Neal? No. No, and somebody asked, what did he do? Well, he wrote a column as if he was somewhere and he wasn't there. Like that was proven. I forget, it was a Final Four, right? Was it I forget which one it was. But yeah, he reported on it like he was there and he wasn't there. And he had heard that some certain Michigan State players were going to be there in the crowd, and he wrote about it in his story. Oh, wait, those Michigan State guys never made it to the game. So, right there is that. And it's not even that, the tipping thing for me. I have a friend that was in the book business back in the day, was a regional rep for a book company, bookstore, famous bookstore, as a matter of fact. Did a signing with them, was one of the worst human beings ever of all time. About the type of pens and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm just telling you guys that happened. So that's where my dislike for that. And it's always time to do Tuesdays with Maury until it's time to pop up and talk about sports. Until it's time to sell a book. So whatever. That's just me. People, Mitch Albom's famous, Neal, and what have you done? Don't care. I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm not a dick.
You're not a dick, and if you want to be even happier and have a guardian in your life, call Guardian Alarm, of course, because with Guardian Alarm, it's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs, 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Call them at 1-800-STAY-UP. That's 1-800-STAY-UP. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Final segment of the show here on a Monday. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. BMG holding it down. Good job out of you today, Big Mike Gentry, at least to this point.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Love Mondays and Fridays.
Do you really?
Yeah. Favorite days of the week.
It's always a pleasure.
Big Package Friday is
unmatched.
Is electric.
It's unmatched. Electric.
I love Big Package Fridays. I absolutely do. Spencer Raxter in the building, as always. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Shine Me Up says, love it, Neal. Peaceful Tim Neal with the grown-up talk. I didn't know that it was grown-up talk, man. Like, I don't care, man. Like, if you're a dick, you're a dick, dude.
You're a dick.
That's just the way that it is. Ryan says, Big Package Friday is good.
We've known a couple.
What's that?
I said we've known a couple dicks. I'll just leave it at that.
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, exactly. Final segment of the show, as we said. Anybody up for some Sam slander?
Oh, bring it on.
Jack Harrington says Big Package Friday is the best show of the week.
100%.
Dirty Dr. D says not everyone can handle Big Package Fridays.
No, they most certainly cannot.
Lucchini AP says Big Package Saturday got busted. It's true.
That is. Jack Harrington says, here we go. No, I saw that. Mike K, Sam slander, yes, please. No, I saw that too about Brandon saying Jamison Williams needs to show some maturity, never apologize to the fan base. Score a touchdown. That's my apology.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have catches, score
Of
touchdowns.
course. Be the player that he was drafted to be, and this all goes away.
David Mentier says, any day Sam Flannel isn't on the table, it's a good show.
Well, yeah, you must have really hate these past Mondays and Fridays, and I'm still here. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Hey, don't dish it if you can't take it.
It's fair.
Very fair.
I hope you hate it even more now. I hope you lie awake at night thinking, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to watch the show with Sam on." I hope it burns in your soul more than anything in the world.
BD3 says Sam Flannel wakes up and drinks the water that's been on the nightstand all night long. Is that true?
I mean, I'm sure I've done that before.
Who does? Yeah, wait, is that frowned upon? I do that every night.
Yeah,
literally every night.
Wake up at 3 a.m. Grab the water.
Right, especially if you've had a few the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
anything that's near you.
I think you're weird if you don't do that.
Yeah.
I usually have a bottle sitting there, I put the cap back on.
Yeah,
that's ideal. Yeah,
because I know it's going to sit there for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for that reason. Because I know I just don't want it.
Planning ahead.
Yep. So yeah. Rack says we need a Sam flipping off the crowd turned into a came at me bro meme. We probably do need that. Joel wants to know: do you sleep with socks on, Flannel?
I do not sleep with socks on. Oh, look, there it is. That's a good one. All right.
That's Parker.
Shout out to Parker.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, tonight NBA Finals, final game of the series. Denver will do it. And someone asked me earlier, I can't in good conscience give you a 9.5 point favorite as a get right, which. What is that, minus 700 or minus 800? I can't in good conscience give you a get right that's 20 cents on the dollar. I would tell you to just put your money in a bank CD.
Absolutely.
At that point.
And even all that being said, you never know how a team is going to be able to handle actually having a championship within their grasp. I think the Nuggets are going to be just fine. I think they're going to win this game handily, but you just never know. Maybe the Heat have one last hurrah. I doubt it, but you just never know.
Let's go Red Wings Sparty. Sam has a bookcase of rich mahogany full of well-bound Mitch album books. Is that true?
That is. No.
Are there any Mitch books in your collection?
There are no Mitch album books in my collection. I can confirm that.
Okay, I want to know. No, I mean, you can't manufacture the get right. Dirty Dr. D, halftime, full-time Nuggets. No, you can't manufacture it. It's not, the opportunity's not there right now. The cost is too great. 41-13 says that I'm right.
You can't, yeah, right? The reason that your record is so good is because you only do it if you're sure. You're not just going to, because the fans want it, just throw out a get right that you're not positive about. Especially if you lose, that's not a good look.
That's not how the get right works.
That's not how any of this works.
No, it isn't. It isn't how it works. Sam has a Killian Hayes jersey collection.
No, I most certainly do not.
You don't have the...
No, he hates Killian Hayes.
Jack Harrington, Neal, please do not let your get right be for Florida State versus Clemson this year. I got to see how it plays out. I got to see where we're at in time and space. College football, though, it's quickly approaching. Let's just say it.
Oh, great.
Let's just say it like that. NHL. Hey, Panthers got any shot?
No.
Did we say that against Boston in the same position?
They're too injured. The Golden Knights, well, I guess.
They're in deep now. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Tammy Chin earlier was saying in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread that Kachuk had to stay back and get PT done.
Mm-hmm.
It's, stick a fork in them at this point. It's been a great run, but it's over. Especially all the energy that they've had to expend, especially in the first round coming back from 3-1. You can't just do that twice. No chance.
Didn't they win like 8 straight road games or something like that at one point during the playoffs?
I think it's one of like those runs that you're not going to see for a while. Like the way they played and like the run they had, it was phenomenal.
Winning all those road games, dude.
It's tough.
So, all right, well, hey, I hope it changes. Heck of a run by them, and that is what it is. We'll be back at it tomorrow. So for Sam Flannel, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, Spencer Raxter, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping into Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.